So, why is endo not just a bad period? Well, when we break it down, what is a period? It is when the egg that hasn't fertilised, that is attached to a thickened womb lining, comes away, and that provides the woman's period in its very simplest terms. So why endometriosis is not that is, one, that the endometriosis itself is somewhere that's not in the uterus. So it's not part of a normal period because it doesn't come from the same place. It is quite literally somewhere else in the body. And a uterine lining and an egg coming away, women's bodies are designed for that. That is our body's way of signalling that we haven't got pregnant, right? But with endometriosis, those cells that are similar but not the same as that uterine lining have nowhere to go because they don't have a natural exit designed by the human body. They get stuck, and depending on where that endometriosis is found, that stuckness and the level of endometriosis plays a part as well. That getting stuck in the body then causes physical damage and symptoms that go beyond a simple menstrual cycle. And they build and build because, again, a period, once it's come away and the cycle restarts, the body has shed what it needs to and is done. Whereas when the endometriosis gets stuck and another cycle comes round, it's like sticking a plaster on top of a plaster on top of a plaster on top of a plaster, right? Eventually you're going to end up with a series of plasters 10 miles high, and without actually taking one off. And that's why, even on a very physiological level, endometriosis is not just bad periods. Also then, just in terms of what it does, because of these cells being where they're not supposed to be, and where the body's not naturally designed to have this, it causes a level of pain, inflammation. It causes organs to stick together, quite literally, because those old cells that haven't come away become quite sticky in nature and quite literally cause organs to move. One of the most common ones for that is the bladder or bowel. They are two organs that are quite often part of endo because the cells will move the bowel or bladder and other places too to be out of position. So as well as then just the general fact that the body is fighting something that shouldn't be there, which causes, inflammation, tension, all of those sorts of things, there is also then a movement that occurs that has a secondary effect on other parts of the body. So if you imagine that your bowel was moved out of place and had been pushed out of position, every time you then try to have a bowel movement, your body is not doing that in the way that it's designed to. It is having to work extra hard because, as well as doing the natural movements involved, it's also having to do it from a different location, quite literally. And this is also then why endometriosis symptoms and issues can sometimes extend well beyond the menstruation phase, which is another common thing that is misunderstood. People often say, it's only for 1 week of the month and the other 3 you're fine. No, because those effects especially build up over time, and with things like deep infiltrating endometriosis, means that the whole body is constantly out of sync, constantly doing what it's not supposed to do. And it means this build-up happens where your body is in chronic fight state, unable to regulate itself, and yeah, just a constant every single day issue that until something changes just builds and builds and builds and builds each month.